You guys ever heard of the Iceberg Principle? It's like, you can only see 10% of something. Like the internet, for instance, you can only see 10%, the public web, but then under the surface is 90% of the deep web and the dark web. And they give you an infographic that looks kind of like this, you know? And it's like, this is the water, this is the 90% that you can't see, this is the 10% that you can see. Well, we're gonna be talking about that today because this is the most important video series you're ever going to watch here on YouTube.
I'm not a financial advisor.
If you want to break this and you want to see reality, then you're going to want to watch this video. And this entire video series is going to be 25 videos in this video series. We're going to be taking a look at how the world is actually controlled. Because, you know, you've got this 10% up here. And this 10% is what you can see. And there's a lot of people out there that believe everything they see. And these people, okay, they believe that governments are good. right, okay. They believe, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, right? They believe there's a two-party system and there's like two actual sides. They believe that protests, that these are just natural, that these just pop up in places, these crazy things that all of a sudden steal the media attention. They believe that the news, now we've learned it can't be quite as trustworthy as we thought, but in general, I mean, my God, if you're looking at Reuters or the Associated Press, that's definitely real, right? Okay, so you've got these people that this is what they see. Trump collusion, it's gotta all be real. Or if they're on the other side, they say, you know, Biden loves Ukraine and Hunter Biden, Guys, it's all a scam, 100%. You got people that believe this, okay? They see the 10% that we can see, okay? But then you have another problem, actually, because you actually have two ways of looking at this 90%, okay? We're gonna call one the Alex Jones, and then we're gonna call the other one reality. A lot of people call me the Alex Jones of crypto, and I understand what they say or what they mean when they say that. I mean, I think it comes for good reason. But the problem with Alex Jones is that he almost had it. He's almost got it. He almost had it figured out. But that little percent of things that he was still unsure what was happening, like when he says that, Sandy Hook was done by some man coming in, that is not reality. And you know how you know that Alex Jones wasn't accurate about a lot of things? Is because he was still in the air, right? He was still in the air. And that's how you know that over time, he was calling these people out all, publicly, they would have taken him off the air. But because he would say things like Michelle Obama is a man, and then he says something like the globalists are trying to depopulate. Well, Michelle Obama was obviously not a man. Everyone can look and see that, okay? Sandy Hook was a real tragedy. Everybody can look and see that. And look, after you figure out this whole series, like you are gonna have to question a lot of things, okay, that you see. We want you to question reality, but sometimes you settle on the point that, okay, something may have actually occurred here, okay? So here's what I'm saying. The margin of error for Alex Jones, for a lot of the way he believed that the world works, was so wide that he was allowed to just keep going on until they were done with him and until they were ready for him to get off the air because they didn't like him anymore. And they removed him, obviously, through a lawsuit. And then you have reality, and reality is what we are going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about these power structures that exist that are real. And here's the thing about this down here, okay? Alex Jones and David Icke, these guys. Now look, who knows? I may find out later these guys were right all along, I don't know. But what I believe now, okay, is you have the Illuminati, you have the Freemasons, Shriners at their core, right? And you have yada, yada, yada. You have all of these groups that people say, the skull and crossbones and all this stuff. And I'm gonna tell you, those groups aren't real. Those groups are definitely real. They do exist, I believe. I believe the Illuminati really exists, or the rest of them do. But here's the thing. They don't have a lot of power. They might have some money in their coffers, but they don't have a lot of power. When we get to the network of information that has been set up in the world, when we get to that, what you're going to see is that everybody's just facilitators. They're just all facilitators for one group. And who is this group? Who is this group of people that they are facilitators for? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked, because there is one group that is at the top of the world, and there's not a question about it. And if you believe this is a conspiracy, or you think this isn't true, or you're gonna try to turn this into some kind of like racist to like anti-Semite thing, you're just an idiot. This is a fact, guys. I want you to understand, this is a fact. The both children family run the world, okay? Both children. If you don't know who the both children are, let's see if we just maybe accidentally, and then we, okay, so here's the thing. Guys, the both children family and a network of families, large, old banking families, they run the entire world. Everything you see that goes out on media is controlled on a large scale level or either a micro level, because what you have to understand is every single thing that you see is not necessarily something that was fed and delivered from one entity. Everybody gets their piece of the pie, okay? Like CoinDesk, for instance, in the world of crypto, take CoinDesk. CoinDesk has its own goals below the goals of, let's say, its parent company, the CCP-owned Bullish Global, or the people that might be above that. And we're really gonna look at this, and what you're gonna see is that underneath that family and the families, then you have the Bank of International Settlements, okay? That comes next. Then you have the central banks, okay? You have the central banks. That's like the Bank of England, the Fed. And then after that, that's where it splits off, okay? It's gonna split off into a value network, I'm gonna call it, and an information network. And we're gonna talk much more about this when we get to those individual videos. But when I say a value network versus an information network, what I'm talking about is like, let's say XRP versus SWIFT, okay? SWIFT is an international banking system. It's an information system. The money doesn't actually transfer. It's just communication. The money should be transferred. A network of value would be XRP, because when you send XRP, you're actually sending value. The token is the value. And so what I'm trying to show you here is we're gonna get into the flow of money in the world, and we're gonna get into the flow of news. And when you talk about news, it's just not news. I mean, flow of news and law. Because basically what happens is you have these bodies that come up with these ideas for laws, and then they filter them down the system to the people that matter, right? Like, let's say it's a healthcare law. It's gonna go down to the WHO, the World Health Organization, right? And then from there, it's gonna go down to the media, and it's gonna be dispersed in the way that they want it to be. And we're gonna break down all of this. We're gonna get into how the cartels play into this. How does the triad play into this? I'm going to bust open what you believe about the world if you watch this entire video series. In the next video, we're gonna be talking about the families that rule the world. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit that bell for notifications. You do not wanna miss this next video. We're talking about those families. Be blessed, but go out.